All right, ladies and gentlemen, so you guys have sent this particular article to me, screenshots of this. You're asking me questions on my Twitter, everything. Like, I got so many DMs about this particular article because it is very telling. So I can understand why you guys sent this to me. But there is an article from That Park Place with a headline that reads, Report, Dragon Age The Veilguard will not have any DLC or expansion as BioWare shifts focus to Mass Effect 5. Now, a lot of people are saying, is this them abandoning the game? And I got to be honest with you, I kind of think it is.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, you guys got to put a negative spin on everything.
There's no way in hell that this game is going to make its money back if there is no DLCs. I'm telling you right now. They can hope that it'll trickle down eventually if they put it on sale for $10, $15, whatever, on the holidays. They can hope that that's going to be enough to generate revenue over the next couple of years to eventually make its money back. But that's a pretty piss poor strategy, especially if you're trying to rush to get to Mass Effect 5. I got to imagine that at this point, Mass Effect 5 is going to be BioWare's last hurrah. And I've said this since the longest time, that BioWare was going to be subsidized by EA up until Mass Effect 5. If BioWare, if it does Mass Effect 5 and it fails like Dragon Age The Veilguard is currently failing, they're done. BioWare will most likely be closed down at that point, but they're not going to be closed down until EA gets 2 of their legacy games out brand new. That's what they're hoping for. EA wants to get a brand new Dragon Age game, and EA wants to get a brand new Mass Effect game. Once those games are out, then they'll figure out what they're going to do with their legacy studio from there. But until that happens, they're going to subsidize them all the way through, and that's why these activists over there at BioWare are never going to learn, because they're getting paid to be activists. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, again, you guys are asking me, do I think this is them abandoning the game? And I genuinely think it is, because they initially had an idea for this game to be a live service game, which means lots of DLCs, lots of monetization, all kinds of shit, right? That's the initial idea that they had for this game. Then they turned it into a gender, whatever kind of adventure. They turned it into a weird non-binary coming out story adventure. That's all this game ended up turning into. If they really think that that's going to be enough with the amount of refunds they've been getting lately, with the amount of pre-order cancellations that they received an insane amount of pre-order cancellations. It's not even funny. I made a video on that today, so go check that out if you missed it. But now, on top of all that information, you already know that people are refunding left and right. The amount of copies that are being sold are going down, and they have yet, as of the time of this filming, announced a 1 million units sold post or anything like that. If they really hit 1 million units sold, they would have posted it already. They would have had it all out there claiming victory over the Chuds, even though they need well over 1 million copies sold to get anywhere close to being able to break even on their massive budget. But still, this game is such a fucking joke that they are not even going to make DLCs or expansions for it, which I think is a bad move. It's a bad move business-wise, because again, a DLC, maybe not an expansion, but a DLC, you should definitely do a DLC. You should do DLCs to try to milk the modern audience for whatever money they actually do spend, which is not much, to be honest with you. So it says a new report details that BioWare will not be developing any DLC or expansions for Dragon Age The Veilguard, but will instead turn their entire focus to Mass Effect 5. George, by the way, RIP Mass Effect 5, okay, because if the people who made Veilguard are now on Mass Effect 5, we're cooked. We're cooked. And I already kind of knew that. I don't have any hope when it comes to Mass Effect, because look what they did with Andromeda. Look what they did with Anthem. Like, I have no hope for Mass Effect. But now that I've seen what they're capable of, now that I've seen what the modern audience version of BioWare is capable of, we're looking at it on screen right now. I'm telling you right now, Mass Effect 5 is fucking cooked. George Yang at Rolling Stone reported on Halloween, with Dragon Age The Veilguard now complete, BioWare confirms that there are currently no plans for downloadable expansions. He added the developers' full attention has now shifted entirely to the next Mass Effect as their current project. A subsequent report from Kat Bailey at IGN did detail that BioWare is not completely abandoning Dragon Age The Veilguard following its release, but will support the game with quality of life improvements and a handful of smaller content updates. Now, we have already seen a patch or two come out for this game that fixes issues and whatnot, because obviously these games are not working day one. They have, you know, issues, they have bugs, they have glitches. I ran into a few bugs and glitches myself already, so they patch them, they fix them, and they call them quality of life improvements, when really all it is bringing the game to where it should have been at release. But you know, whatever makes it look better in the PR aspect. Given the game will not have any DLC, it calls into question EA CEO Andrew Wilson's bravado surrounding the game during a recent earnings call. Wilson titled the game had breakout potential, so much breakout potential that they haven't announced a 1 million sold post yet. Makes you wonder. He told investors it's an amazing time at EA, and in 2 days we will launch Dragon Age: The Veilguard. It's been 10 years since we launched its predecessor game of the year winner, Dragon Age Inquisition. In a QA portion of the call, Wilson asked by Raymond James Financial Group analyst Andrew Maroc, I have seen some very strong reviews so far, but as far as you could tell, what drives that kind of breakout success we've seen in some single-player fantasy games in the last couple of years? And how do you feel that Veilguard might compare along those lines? The fact that he even thinks that Veilguard could come close to comparing is hilarious, because that means that either the investor's not paying attention or the CEO is that good of a salesman. It could be maybe both, you know what I mean? But I think it's crazy that as an investor in video games, you don't actually know what's happening in video games. You're not actually following the culture, the conversation. And if you don't, I feel like you're just throwing your money away at this point in time. So it says, while Wilson claimed the game had breakout capabilities, EA's chief financial officer, Stuart Canfield, shared that the company was maintaining our assumptions for upcoming Dragon Age: The Veilguard launch this week, and our partner titled slated to launch in Q4. He later added, turning to Q3, we expect net bookings of $2.4 billion to $2.55 billion, up 1% to up 8% year over year, largely driven by the launch of Dragon Age and continued growth in our EA Sports franchise. I highly doubt that their net bookings is going to go up with the release of Veilguard. I'm going to call cap. I'm going to call absolute fucking cap on that. 100%. The numbers don't support it. Against your budget, and the numbers that are currently available right now, your argument is not supported. There is no fucking way in the slightest. Most of your sales are coming from a store that is not yours, right? Most people are not buying Dragon Age: The Veilguard for full price on EA's Origin. That's not happening, because you can get it for free on EA Play Pro. So that is a retail sale that's lost on that particular side of the, you know, digital storefront. Now you got Steam, which takes 30% from whoever they work with. So that is a massive cut on whatever gets sold. So even if you sell 1 million copies, you're losing 30% on that 1 million copies. So that right there is whatever. Then you got Xbox and PS5, which I think take 15% from the retailer. If I'm not mistaken, they take 15% cut. So still, you're losing 15% on average from each sale on PS5 and on Xbox. So even if you sold 1 million units, that is nowhere near enough to make up $200+ million. That is just not a thing. So if you're trying to say that your net bookings are going to go up because of Dragon Age: The Veilguard, I'm going to have to call you one massive fucking liar. One would think that if Wilson was as confident as the game's breakout potential as he claims, he would be investing in DLC that players want to purchase for the game. However, it seems opposite in this case. Rather than putting more development cash into the game, it looks like that directive has been given to cut losses and move on to Mass Effect 5. I agree. That's exactly what this looks like. And they could try to say that it's not, but it is. Why would you release this game and do no DLC for it whatsoever? Zero. It just seems very odd, especially in today's world, especially for an EA game. EA of all people? You mean to tell me EA doesn't want to monetize a product? No fucking way. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.